Good morning. I sit here looking at how slow my other computer, not the one that I'm recording on, but the desktop is working this morning, and I realize that there's a backup in progress, which isn't supposed to be doing it at this time, but anyway, that's what's happening, and everything is slow. And I'm chuckling because I looked at the time and all of a sudden it was 4:44. In fact, it's already 4:45. Anyway, the title that I've chosen for this morning is I Choose to Love the Scapegoats. The question that came to me before I even got out of bed this morning to go to into the meditation room was clear. It is not the first time I have heard it, though the feeling seemed more focused than ever before. What do you really want? As I meditated on this, I realized that I have a belief that has long worked through my unconscious or subconscious mind. You can't have what you want. As I prayed for various people who are struggling, the feeling that this programming is a lie swept over me, that we can choose what we want and experience it. Not the wanting, but the object of our desire. Well then, in that case, I choose love and all of its accompanying results, peace, joy, and more. Then I started thinking about those I have been trained to think of as scapegoats for what is wrong with my life and the world. Well, I choose to love the scapegoats. Tonight we're going to have a discussion group here at the Mary Horgan Center, led by one of my newer friends that I've only known for maybe a half a year now, Mike Brooker. And he's studied the 5 major world religions and then some, and teaches yoga and meditation and other things along that line. In any case, I was in a discussion group with him a month or more than a month maybe ago on that same subject, and I invited him to come here tonight. But it's the 5 major world religions and learning to focus on what is similar with them rather than what is different. We've long focused on the differences, and we've used those differences to scapegoat various religious people. But I realized as I was thinking about the religious aspect, how we do it, even how I do it. Okay, make it personal, Ron. How I do it with the Illuminati, with the government, with everything else that I see that's wrong in my world that flows into my life and affects my day-to-day living. And yes, as enlightened as I like to think of myself, I still spend a lot of time focusing on those that I blame and wishing they would go away. And maybe what the universe is trying to get me to see, could it possibly be, that they can't go away as long as I'm holding them in my consciousness as an enemy. Now I've tried to love those that I think are my enemies. I've tried to love them. I've wanted to love them, but I haven't always felt the love because I still have had the subconscious belief maybe that I'm not worthy of love, maybe that I'm not worthy of getting what I want and what I need and having my needs met, that it has to always be hard, that it has to always be a struggle, because it seems like it's always been a struggle. Yeah, and I've identified with the underdogs, the victims, and I've scapegoated those that seem like they're on the top of the pile, starting with the New York Yankees when I was a kid. whom I despised because they always seemed to win back then in the 1950s. They won way more often than they lost. And I'm talking about World Series and pennants. But anyway, that's irrelevant today because I don't follow sports all that much, although I still don't like the Yankees. But I realized how much I still think in terms of blame. Whose fault is it? And sometimes it's hard to say it's my fault because I don't see it easily. I don't see it. Most of what I've done in my life, like pretty much everybody else on this planet, has been unconscious. I've responded to the way that I've been programmed, and I haven't been aware of the actual programming. I haven't been aware of it. Most of us haven't. This is the time of awakening when we're realizing the programming. Well, who programmed us? Does it really matter? Does it really matter who did the programming? All that really matters, I think, is that we recognize that the programming exists and we make a new choice. Can we as humans choose to love the scapegoats? Those that are held up before us as being responsible for the problems of the world. Can we love the Illuminati? Can we love the elite? They were trained, just like the rest of us, with certain beliefs. And they've acted on those beliefs. And they've manifested much of what's going on in the world because they've had a plan, whereas the people have not had a plan. Is it any wonder who seems to be winning? But that's not the case anymore. The world is changing. We are waking up. We are recognizing the programming. We are recognizing the brainwashing. We are recognizing the scapegoating. If we look close enough, we'll recognize how we're being taught to hate some group, some faction, so that we're constantly at war with each other. And when we're at war with each other, we're also at war with ourselves, because that's how it works. When you look deeply enough, that's exactly what's going on. We're at war with ourselves. We are polarized within ourselves. We don't know what we want. Because we're not conscious of what we want, we keep getting what we've been programmed to get. We keep getting what we've been receiving all along, thinking that we want a different result, bitching and complaining about the results we're getting, and yet it's all programming. We are masters of manifestation, and what we have manifested in our world is lack. What we have manifested is violence. What we have manifested is everything that is the opposite from what our higher self in each case wants. The higher self wants peace and joy and love. It wants a world that works for everybody, but we have to get it. I'm going to close my message today by reading a poem that I wrote in 2009 in October, and it's called Scapegoats. Today it is the Muslims and yesteryear the Jew. Tomorrow perhaps Christians. Scapegoating is not new. Humans have a propensity to blame what we can see, not take responsibility. No wonder we're not free. Always looking out there at the problems that we face, yet the problems are a mirror provided by God's grace. Everything within us that we refuse to own is projected to the outside, yet it is ours alone. There was a time when Muslims honored people of the book, before the great crusades forced another look. 'Twas in the name of Christ that the enmity was made, carried to this very day, in the world now displayed. Christians fighting Christians in Ireland for years. Our history of religion is fraught with pain and tears. My God is superior, yours we call the devil. Polarization rampant, the playing field's not level. The ego disconnected from the nature of the all produces our delusion in the matrix of the fall. Separated souls, connections not yet seen, veiling minds and hearts and everything between. Millennia of bloodshed, vengeance's reward. Ignorance's dilemma, violence is outpoured. Insanity and madness, even the children cry. From the heart of every human is the biggest question, why? How long will we miss it? At what time will we see? Everything that's out there is another part of me. Underlying everything is the Creator's plan to know the height, the depth, the breadth, the width of everything below. Of what am I capable? How much can I create? Did God know the answer? Did she know our fate? Did he write the destiny before the world began? Was the separation just a divine plan? Questions, many questions, for wisdom we cry out. We will know the answers and know beyond a doubt. I believe the answer's yes. Many are now knowing. Many now can see, and many souls are growing. A time of reawakening, remembering it all, peering into eternity, long before the fall. The puzzle comes together, the mystery is solved. From the lie of separation, this horror world evolved. Islam's goal is peace. For Christians it's the same. Buddhists end all suffering, and Jews they light the flame. Hindus accept everything, and pagans love the earth. Mankind has been promised a spiritual rebirth. Native tribes and cultures, their message we now hear. Everything is part of us. There's nothing we must fear. Angels are descending. Nature's spirits speak. Everything around us is bringing what we seek. The year of Jubilee, with all debts forgiven, all the slaves set free, a whole new way of living. A renaissance of beauty our passions now unleash. Creative force abounding, 1,000 years of peace. Glorious celebrations, dancing in the streets, mirth and music everywhere, and no one still competes. Namaste, the greeting. I see that you're divine. I share my gifts with everyone, and others' gifts are mine. The prophets of all ages, the sages and the seers, from all the great religions, foretold to us these years. This time we call ascension, when all vibrations rise, and every tear is wiped away. Truth overcomes the lies. Where all will share the bounty, God's glory fills the earth, and every soul will recognize everybody's worth. Love and wisdom flourish, and greed gives way to care, and every heart that ever prayed receives their answered prayer. No more will we use scapegoats to place or shift the blame, and everyone remembers their own eternal name. Each child of God fulfilled, each soul has been restored, each broken heart is mended, gone all that we abhorred. We will not blame the Muslim, the Christian, or the Jew. In fact, we won't blame anyone as we make the world brand new. This age of understanding stands ready at our door, awaiting our acceptance of this and so much more. thank you for listening. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.